The guild is hiding something. Let's dig that shit up. Net call. Napalm strike inbound.
Clear shot.
Hard point.
Enemy with suspects.
Got the hard point. Got the advantage. Now we have to keep it. Contesting hard point. The guild took the hard point.
Oh, okay. It's not the big oversized.
Oh, the XL?
Are they gonna be good? Oh, the XL? Okay.
for all. Eliminate the
Warning, containment breach reported.
skewer incoming.
Hostiles removed one of your trophy seekers.
Hellstorm inbound. Hostiles released a skewer.
Proceed with caution via marked exit.
Skewer incoming.
All personnel proceeding to designated Proceed with caution via marked exit.
What are you waiting for? Make your move.
Good game.
Systems compromised. Cut your wires. Go to ground.
Good game.
for all. You are authorized to engage. Protect the guild's interests.
I'm getting so mad. I have not had a... I'm getting game
So
in
mad.
2.5 days.
I have not had a good game in 2.5 days.
Hostile skewer inbound.
Well then. No, I get it.
Well then.
Son of a gun. I'm in the middle of a reload.
Son of of a gun in the middle of a reload.
You want to explain this to the board? Turn this around. Skewer release detected.
Dang it. Good game.
Rest assured, this will be deducted from your salary.
Shit. Good game.
Free for all. Eyes up. System's hot. We're not here for a tour.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Files have been released, including a report on something seen in the sky over Anoka. This is the video taken by an employee with the Anoka Police Department on February 19th, 2025, between 1 and 2 a.m. They reported seeing the object for about 90 minutes. They believe it was the size of a school bus and was rapidly changing color. When it flew away, it reportedly skipped across the sky like a stone. This video was taken through a pair of binoculars. The new UFO files come after President Trump directed federal agents to release the records this past winter. A congressional report back in 2024 shows there has been no evidence that the government has ever confirmed a sighting of alien technology. New UFO files.
Someone got shot, man. This happened just in front of me right here.
An update to this morning's shooting here on Nicollet Mall in downtown Minneapolis, and we're being told that one suspect has been taken into custody. Now, just to kind of recap what happened here, this was very close to Target, as you can see, a bus stop down that way at about 9th and Nicollet. Two people were shot. Both have non-life-threatening injuries. This happened right before 8:30 Friday morning. We're being told they're being treated for their non-life-threatening injuries at Hennepin Healthcare. Now, we did talk with a witness who works downtown. He did not want to be identified, but he did an interview with us. He also had video of what happened after the shooting, where officers showed up to give first aid to...
Another day, another fraud story here in Minnesota, but this is a Minneapolis grocery store owner. Abdi Dwahid Muhammad is his name, hit now with felony charges for using other people's EBT cards. That's the electronic system that allows people to pay using their SNAP benefits at Sam's Club and Costco. Then he was reselling those items, according to the charges, at his own Minneapolis store. So what's interesting is this all allegedly happened for about a 5-month period, according to the charges, back in 2021. He racked up more than $1 million in that time, primarily with baby formula, energy drinks. They appear in the documents as well, as he's reselling those items at his store. But charges were only filed last week. He's been charged by summons, which is why there isn't any kind of mugshot just yet. Another day, another fraud story.
I changed the noise so it doesn't honk anymore. It makes gunshots. People get away way faster. I changed the noise so it doesn't honk.
Tonight, this viral video of a Minnesota single father chasing down a...
Some friends aren't just friends. They become your chosen family. They're the ones who stand by your side when the world feels heavy, who laugh with you, cry with you, and lift you higher when you're down. It's not about blood, but about loyalty, trust, and love.
Can I ask you about Nancy Mace? She proposed a resolution that would bar foreign-born individuals from serving in Congress. What do you think about that? She mentioned you as an example. What's your response to that? So you don't think it'll go anywhere? And also, Randy Fine has one about giving up. If you're a dual citizen, you have to give up your citizenship in the other country. Renounce it. What do you think about that?
Who's that?
Randy Fine.
Oh. Swear I was just wishing.
God knew you needed this verse today.
Sounds so arrogant. Oh, my
Isaiah 40:31.
favorite one.
But they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Life has tested you every day, but by God's grace, you are still standing. No matter how hard it's been, you kept moving forward. Believe in the strength God has given you. If you are still standing, please.
Shut up, Betty.
He did not just say that. Oh my goodness. If her ex was a street sign, what would it read? Man. What? How are they supposed to do that? Oh my goodness, that's so old. What?
Okay, check this out. Look at these $100 bills. You notice anything strange here? Look at the back. Those red Chinese symbols.
They don't belong there.
It's fake. They're all fake. Counterfeit bills that police say this man used to steal multiple cars on Facebook Marketplace over the last few years. And get this, we uncovered that guy with that criminal history somehow got involved with this daycare that has received millions of your tax dollars. It's the original child care center, one of the 9 raided by the feds last month. I was there when the feds took boxes and boxes out of the center. So far, no charges in that case, but it certainly raises a lot of questions about oversight. And how did this happen?
American patriots are cheering loudly after Fox News stops a live show to break troubling news regarding Tim Walz. And since this total betrayal of our nation is finally coming to the light, I will perfectly pin the video in the first comment section for you to go down and watch the...
Come on, children, your wife, come on, Dad! Legit, my boy, I have your face, mother... You're dead! Dad!
We see his face, and I promise you,
we will find him. And when we find him, we will arrest him, because it is a crime not only to threaten law enforcement, but not surprisingly to threaten their family as well.
Building credit can feel like a women diagnosed with a
I'ma keep on stepping on turn. Shake up the line, then step I learn. Stepping up, you don't like me? Good. That's a you problem, not mine. I don't give a fuck. Not one, not two. Your mouth ain't written no room in my mood. You got a problem, that problem is you. I don't give a fuck, and that's the truth.
Hey, how much is this mobility scooter? The island of Hawaii is the largest of workers paid by Medicaid to care for vulnerable Minnesotans caught sleeping on the job.
She was clocked in and she was asleep in her car with a pillow and blanket.
Records show Sunshine Care Services billed Minnesota's ICS program $248 a day, $4,400 a month to help this client. Did you get any of that help?
Barely.
She's not alone. Another client shared this photo of his Sunshine Care worker.
He had a staff member pull two chairs together and sleep on his chairs in his living room.
So, what does company CEO Shukri Abdi have to say?
He's not available at the moment.
Do you know
Of course he's not.
Can you stop recording?
Well, we need to ask him some questions. He's got clients accusing him of billing fraud. Can you ask him to come talk with us, please?
No answers about workers asleep and taxpayers billed.
Because it's not right for them to just be able to sit in their car and sleep.
Yeah.
And then say that they're doing
Doing the
hours
work.
with us when they're not.
Here's how to take meeting notes smart.
You are not going to like what happens next.
What happens?
She was also at a town hall last night downplaying the Feed Our Future corruption that's been bilking Minnesota taxpayers for $9 billion and dismissing critics as racist. Watch.
So nothing is even remotely close to the narrative that they have about Somalis. Our origins on how we got here, or even our numbers, which is always fascinating. Great racism than anything personal. It is, yeah. So they learned a way that they were wasting lots of federal resources.
Oh my gosh, bitch, you were one of them. You married your brother to come to this country.
Town hall last night downplaying the Feed Our Future corruption that's been
I'm
bilking
sorry, Lord. I'm
Minnesota
sorry. Today's Sunday.
taxpayers
I'm sorry.
for $9 billion and dismissing critics as racist.
What? No. Okay, that's in New York. Oof.
And I'm just going to say what the rest of us are thinking. No man has the business to be a gynecologist.
Non-binary is a made-up word. You are either a male or a female. Stop teaching children lies. Clearly. Whoa.
chat, and the competition is more chaotic than ever. That's crazy. Next Level Chat, all new Thursdays on Fox.
Well, we have an incredible update to tell you about. A 7-year-old girl is safe and with family tonight after being abducted in Sherburne County.
Now, we first brought you the story last night here at 9 o'clock as hundreds search for her in the bitter cold. Our So-Young Kim joins us now with the latest. And So-Young, investigators say this little girl was abducted by a stranger? Tell us.
Tim Kelsey, that's right. And authorities say she was found more than 100 miles away from home, and a man was taken into custody.
This is every family's worst nightmare.
A 7-year-old girl is home safe now after authorities say she was abducted by a stranger Wednesday. Roughly 700 volunteers and 200 law enforcement officers from multiple local, state, and federal agencies were all hands on deck Wednesday evening searching for her.
The Amber Alert was issued after law enforcement agencies were in a position to close in on.
Sick. Wow.
We'd like to ask where the money's going. Months after the now closed Future Leaders Early Learning Center appeared in a conservative influencer video exposing fraud in Minnesota, the former owner is facing brand new federal charges. According to court records, between late 2022 and the end of last year, Fahima Muhammad submitted $4.6 million worth of reimbursement claims to the state's low-income child assistance program. But prosecutors say she never collected the co-payments required in roughly half of those claims. Still, they say Muhammad lied on forms saying she did collect the co-payments. Prosecutors say this all started nearly 2 years after they say Muhammad got involved with the Feeding Our Future scheme, also through her Future Leaders Early Learning Center in Minneapolis. They charged her in that scheme 3 months ago, saying she received more than $850,000 in reimbursements for serving meals to children. But prosecutors say she only spent a little more than $100,000 on food. And if convicted, federal prosecutors are also seeking to have Muhammad forfeit any property that she may have gotten from money from the alleged scheme. But we'd like to ask. Good to see you.
Fox News alert. Back to the hearing now of accused Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson. The judge is hearing oral arguments on 2 critical issues. The first is a defense motion to close portions of an upcoming hearing and seal specific exhibits. They want to keep that private. And the second is a defense motion to sanction members of the prosecution team for allegedly violating the court's gag order.
If someone walked up to you right now,
There's a way being pulled over.
Oh my gosh.
Good evening, I'm Bill Maluchin, and this is your Fox News report. President Trump's cabinet discussing ongoing talks with Iran, saying they are prioritizing diplomacy, but still keeping military options on the table. The president maintains Tehran is, quote, negotiating on fumes. In Iran, international internet access is slowly being restored after a blackout following the start of the war. Uganda closing its border with Congo in an effort to stop the spread of the deadly Ebola.
Rory, just because you're a dinosaur doesn't mean you can't get with the times. And especially this season, you need to download the Fox Local app. We are streaming every Aurora home game live for free. Download it on your smart TV or on your smartphone and take us with you anywhere.
I now bring this special meeting of the Minnesota Board of Pardons to order. Pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13 Delta .04, required notice has been provided. This is an extraordinary circumstance which brings us together to consider an application we had originally planned to consider at our scheduled June board meeting. On Thursday, and I may add, a board of pardons consisting of myself as governor of Minnesota, Chief Justice of the Minnesota Supreme Court Hudson.
You mean
and
crooked
joining us online is
governor?
Attorney General Keith Ellison, who is with us on.
Another crook?
Good morning, to you, Attorney General. On Thursday, May 14th, we received notice that one applicant, Jai Bang, was taken into ICE custody and is scheduled to be deported from the United States before the next Board of Pardons meeting. To preserve and assert Minnesota's sovereign state interest in enforcing our own criminal laws and the constitutional rights through the clemency process, I've called this meeting to consider the application. Before we begin, I would turn to Chief Justice Hudson for any opening remarks.
Thank you, Governor. I have no opening remarks at this time.
Thank you, Chief Justice. Attorney General Ellison, any opening remarks?
I have no opening remarks either.
The applicant is requesting a pardon. A pardon may be given to an individual who has finished their sentence and completed a waiting period. No member of the board has requested a second hearing. The board members may ask questions of the Executive Director Stark and Chair Lindstrom, who have joined us, and we may discuss amongst ourselves. We will then.
Unbelievable. Oh.
In just 2 months, we've exposed billions of dollars in benefits that have been stolen from the American people. We've referred over $22 billion in fraudulent small business loans back to the Treasury for collection. We've deferred more than $1.3 billion in fraudulent Medicaid reimbursements that were coming from various states, particularly California. We put a 6-month hold on enrollments for new hospice and home health care providers because so many of the newer hospice providers were not actually providing hospice services, but were just focused on fraud. So we're going to cut that out for a little bit and try to get to a place where we can actually certify that the people providing hospice services are actually providing those very necessary and important services. We recover taxpayer funds from the $135 billion stolen after the floodgates were open in the immediate aftermath of COVID. We have found $6.3 billion in suspected fraudulent government contracts, which were mostly awarded during the last administration, and that has stopped. And finally, we blocked $60 million in student aid fraud that should have gone to young people trying to get an education, but instead we're going to fraudsters. In just 2 months, we exposed billions of dollars in benefits.
For asking about your financial disclosure, but there's some discrepancies on there. Would you like to explain that? How you make some big mistake on this? So you people for asking me anything. I am. Well, what about the American people who are wondering how you need to make mistakes? Explain to the American people. What's the explanation? I have given them the explanation. Do you want to tell our viewers? Because I don't want to love you, Josh. How about that? Okay. How you doing? Thank you for asking.
Oh my gosh. Wow. What? No freaking way.
Mayor Baraka was mayor of Newark when Delaney Hall operated under President Barack Obama. He was the mayor, President Obama was the president. His very facility was operated under that administration. There were no protests, no walkouts, no stunts, no altercations, no attacks, nothing at all. But now that President Trump is back and the American people have rejected the insanity of happening an open border, now the mayor and his friends in Congress are outraged. Give me a break. Right now, ICE needs more detention space than it ever did. But the same voices that created this chaos are now trying to shut down the very detention facilities that are needed to fix it. That's why this hearing matters. From New York, California, local politicians.
I honestly believe Keith Ellison and Governor Walz need to be held accountable. There needs to be an investigation done. If they weren't aware, that's concerning.
Bach recently told the New York Post that she struggles to believe that Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar did not know about the fraud. Omar sponsored the legislation that was exploited to make the scam possible. Now, Omar issued a statement yesterday reading part, any claim that I had knowledge of the scheme is flat out false. Omar also said she's grateful that Amy Bach and the individuals who defrauded taxpayers and vulnerable children are being held accountable.
I honestly believe Keith Ellison and Governor Walz need to be held accountable. There needs to be an investigation done. If they weren't aware, that's concerning.
Bach recently told the New
I want to ask you about the anti-fraud task force. You previously mentioned that Ilhan Omar seemed to have committed immigration fraud. Do you anticipate an indictment against her, an indictment related to that situation?
Yeah, so Regan, I don't want to prejudge an investigation. I mean, you read the things about Ilhan Omar and about, who she married and whether she didn't marry this person or that person. It certainly seems like something fishy is there, but everybody's entitled to equal justice under the laws. So we're going to investigate it. We're going to take a look at it. If we think that there's a crime, we're going to prosecute that crime. And that's something the Department of Justice is looking at right now.
We dropped this airplane.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to let you go.
Every time I have a meeting,
Fire Station 8.
FBI uses. We'll do one more question, then we'll hit the road.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, for taking questions. I'm Phil Hirschkorn from News Center, Maine. So it turns out that Maine does have a Medicare fraud control unit. You mentioned that a few minutes ago. I'm wondering, you said Maine could be the third worst.
The woman whose daycare received the most taxpayer money last year in the state of Minnesota is now charged in federal court with daycare fraud. Fahima Mahmoud was the owner of Future Leaders Early Learning Center and was charged in the Feeding Her Future meal fraud case in February after she booked a flight out of the country. According to court papers, Mahmoud fraudulently received $4.63 million in Child Care Assistance Program, or CCAP money, from October 2022 to December 2025. That $4.63 million in alleged fraud is just a fraction of what the daycare received in total CCAP. According to public documents, Future Leaders Child Care Center got a total of $10.2 million since 2022, but not all of it is alleged to be fraud. As for the meal program fraud, she's now accused of stealing $854,000 while working with other known fraudsters. Mahamud abruptly closed her daycare in January, a month after she was featured in the Nick Shirley YouTube video. The charges come through a court document called a criminal information, which indicates she's already working with the feds and is planning to plead guilty. I'm Lou Goose. Follow for more news.
Meanwhile, Minnesota lawmakers are asking Congresswoman Ilhan Omar to respond by Tuesday regarding questions about a statewide child nutrition fraud scheme. The lawmakers are seeking Omar's written and electronic communications involving the state's Feeding Our Future program, which misused millions of dollars in taxpayer funds. State lawmakers specifically hoping to look at Omar's correspondence with the owners of the Safari restaurant. State lawmakers point out regular at that restaurant, staging many campaign events there. Its owners recently pleaded guilty for their role in the $250 million fraud scheme. Now, Omar's team and allies have largely framed allegations trying to link her to fraud as politically motivated and not substantiated. Meanwhile, Minnesota lawmakers are asking Congress.
Governor, you mentioned affordability. License tab fees are deeply unpopular in Minnesota. Should the next legislature and governor consider reducing those fees more permanently?
No, you know what's more unpopular? Gas prices, war in Iran, tariffs that cause much of this to happen. I'll say it again, Tom. We have the fourth highest amount of roads in the country. California, Texas, Illinois, and us. We have the lowest population, clearly, of most of those states, and so we make investments in that. Cab fees are up, too, because the cost of cars have gone up ridiculously high because we're living in a Trump economy that makes everything more expensive. So you got to fix the roads, and there are a few things that are more really dedicated. The cab fees directly to public safety, the state, the Trunk Highway Fund, and so I acknowledge this. Right now, that's one thing that we can save money on because also more affordable. So I don't want to
he found corrupted, stolen money.
To pay for the roads. And I saw in today's paper, and this is a fair one. How do you deal with EVs who aren't buying, but they're still using the roads and the wear and tear on that? I think this is a smart one. That I do not deny people are feeling those. I do not deny when the average cost of an automobile has exceeded $50,000 now. That's going to be an impact when you go and license your car. Those are going to go up based on the value of the car. So I think it was a smart thing to reduce them, but I would be very cautious about undermining investments in infrastructure in the future because you have to keep it up.
Amy Klobuchar has said absolutely nothing about the billions of dollars of fraud in the last year. Not a word, despite the fact that the acting U.S. attorney last fall announced that the fraud is so staggering that it could reach as high as $9 billion. Amy Klobuchar says nothing until yesterday. And by the way, Stuart, she rolls out a plan, she says, to deal with the fraud. It's nothing but a bunch of fluff. And I would also offer it's all things that Tim Walz and the Democrats could have been doing for the plus years to try to fight fraud. By the way, very interesting in her proposal, no cooperation mentioned with the federal government. Amy Klobuchar has said absolutely.
That is BS, because I wrote you in 2018 and you denied me, ma'am. No way.
Breaking down exactly what led to Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara's resignation, according to the redacted report made public and my interview with Mayor Jacob Fry. Last year, the city received an anonymous complaint that O'Hara had inappropriate sexual relationships with subordinates. Fry says he ordered an investigation into O'Hara in May 2025. That investigation ended later with the sex allegations unfounded, meaning the investigators couldn't prove that they were true. But Mayor Fry opened up a second investigation in December based on a mysterious recording that a city employee made with proof that O'Hara was tampering with the first investigation. This spring, as they looked into all of this again, they found O'Hara.
That's good grief. All right. What? Oh, he did not say that. Hold white men accountable? What? It's got to say White House. It has to be. Tim Walz deflects on Somali Medicaid fraud, tells Minnesotans white men should hold white men accountable instead. Wow. The only reason why they're trying to stop you is because you are uncovering their crookedness. Good grief. Oh my gosh, my joints hurt. Really?
Countdown to the FIFA World Cup starts on Fox Mobile. We're taking you inside the eye, and the city's ready for the world's biggest showdown. Football HQ, streaming on Fox Mobile.
Oh, shoot. I didn't realize that was that video. Oh, well. Hmm. So where the heck is it? Hey Ross, could you shake for me?
Sure.
Please, thank you.
taken advantage of these programs. Deterrence is how we restore social trust. It's how we have Americans believing in one another again, believing in their government, believing in these programs, and that social trust is necessary for the entire American experiment to work. Like the Assistant Attorney General said, today's work is just the beginning. The Vice President, at President Trump's direction, is working incredibly hard every day to fight fraud in every agency, and DOJ to stop the fraud after it happens, arrest and prosecute the fraudsters. And I think today makes very clear to every fraudster, if you somehow get money that goes out the door that doesn't belong to you, is going to find you, put you in handcuffs, and prosecutors are going to throw you in jail. Again, I'm very grateful to the Acting Attorney General and his incredible team, including the strike force that sent prosecutors from all over the country to achieve results. President Trump promised justice, and today DOJ is delivering. With that, I'll turn it over to Administrator Oz.
Thank you. I want us to think back to what life looked like here in Minnesota a year ago, because that's when we started hearing there were concerns in this state about programs that had been built to provide services that historically had been given by families to their family were struggling. Kim Brand, standing behind me, received a phone call, and her team began to work with Minnesota, trying to understand some concerns that were raised, suspicious billing that didn't seem to make a lot of sense. But Minnesota said they had it handled. They were going to take care of it. And we didn't hear back until the last week of August at a conference, at an event around that conference. There was a comment made by someone who worked in that organization here in Minnesota that they actually didn't have it handled, and there were significant problems, and that panic was setting in.
Is there protein up?
And it's at that point that we re-engaged the process, and there were programs that had been created here with massive spending that had increased so rapidly that there's no way to save the program. The Housing Stabilization Program, which takes care of people who are struggling with homelessness or substance abuse and many other reasons why they may need housing, especially in a place like Minnesota where in the cold that can be lethal, needed that program to survive. We are all up here because we love these programs. Medicaid is the fundamental payer of last resort for our most vulnerable citizens. And when we're unable to keep these programs alive because of fraudsters, it hurts all of us. And that's what happened here in Minnesota. Housing Stabilization Program, which had gone from a tiny little program to over $100 million of spending just to find someone on the streets a place to stay, which had been doubling in its expenditures annually, was shut down. Now, these are not the outcomes that we desire, but when you have to force a shutdown, it's an issue. Now, along that way, Nick Shirley, I just noticed standing there, came and started videos. I want to call out the folks who are angry about this. Thank you, Nick. Who want to, perhaps if you want to serve, join us. But if you can't serve, do what you can to shine a light on these cases. And with lots of folks beginning to tell us more and more of the different clues that we were able to put into a larger quilt to understand the magnitude of the catastrophe happening here in Minneapolis and Minnesota in general, we began to take action. Now, I want to point out that a lot of this started during COVID. If you're asking how and why, COVID led to a general abandonment of principles around protecting these programs, the corruption that ensued grew rapidly, total Medicaid spending has increased by 50% since the start of COVID. 50%
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ooh. Oh, oh, wow. Them some fighting words. So there's 3 cases here in Minnesota. My case, uh, um, a, I'm not going to say it. I'll have you just the articles.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Can you see when the order for Amazon's out?
Yeah, it's 11.
Okay. So the insurance fraud, the upcoding that I'm involved in,
Yeah.
am I on Medicaid, Medicare, or medical assistance? What
Medicaid and medical assistance is the same.
Medicaid and medical assistance?
Yeah, Medicaid is states.
Got it.
Medicare is the federal.
Okay. Lobster.
Yeah, this pisses
You
me
should
off.
have done that when I started complaining, crying to you guys in 2018. What? I'm sorry.
I'm pissed off about the marijuana and all.
Hey, that's
I ain't doing it no more. Now on, when I need it, I just grab her and I'm doing it myself. They don't need good shit. No, I don't even know if she was home last night. I walk over there and get it. She's in there.
yeah.
Done with this shit. 280.
Oh, this is it. It's one. Had to take what?
Yeah.
And 10 years of credit demolished. They destroyed my characterability. They're going to believe professionals over a little nobody like me. Now they're realizing all the ones were the crooks and the ones that they accused, victimized the victim. What the heck?
You want another glass? Another glass.
No. I doubt it. If we've got Klobuchar denying any wrongdoing with Walls denying all the subpoenas. Minnesota's a miniature version of Iran, and their ceasefire negotiations. Is he Minnesota? Okay. To care when other federal agencies decide to come in and look at younger brothers over the shoulder. Ross, 5 months. My letter was delivered 5 months ago.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. I hope they just irritate me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 90 billion. 9 billion.
9, yeah.
Gosh, my wrist. Really? That was it? Yeah? I guess so.
Coffee and medicine.
In the past year, the healthcare fraud section has surged. Prosecutors, not only to Minnesota, but to Arizona and California.
Yeah. Minnesota has the biggest fraud, so they're focusing a lot of their resources here. So they're setting up a whistleblowing system to which we'll be able to submit our data.
Oh my gosh.